Hey kids, welcome to Sam's Toolbox. Today we're going to learn about drills, impact drills, and impact wrenches. Now drills and impact drills are two tools that should be in everybody's toolbox. Drills help us drill a hole in any material you can imagine. Just like that. And impact drills help us put screws in things much faster than a normal screwdriver. So let's see how they work. Now drills have a motor that starts working when you press this trigger right here. The harder we squeeze the trigger, the faster the motor will turn. Now, one really special thing about this motor is that it spins in a circle. The force made from that special spinning is called torque. And it's what gives the drill so much power. Now, lots of drills let you control the level of power or torque that the motor uses by adjusting the numbers right here on this knob that we call the clutch. When we move the clutch to higher numbers, we get more power. Now to drill a hole through something, we use a tool called a drill bit. Now drill bits are not actually part of the drill, but they're a piece that fits into the drill and lets us use it. Drill bits come in hundreds of shapes and sizes. Each has its own special job. Some drill bits, like these, make really big holes. And other drill bits, like these, can make really tiny holes. But now, how do we get all these different drill bits into this same drill? This is done with a magical part of the drill called the chuck. The chuck, which is right here, can change from big to small just by twisting the tool. All we do is put a drill bit in, and as the chuck wraps around the drill bit, it holds it in place. This means that whichever drill bit the chuck is holding will spin at a high torque, which lets us make a hole in anything. We can use lots of different sizes of these twisting drill bits to drill holes through wood or steel. We can use these special spade drill bits to drill even larger holes in wood. Just like that. Or we can use a special bit called a hole saw for drilling even bigger holes through wood. Like that. And there are special bits called masonry drill bits that help us drill through rock. These drill bits have a special coated tip and a special shape on that tip to help us get through these hard materials. While most steel and wood drill bits have a tip that looks like this, masonry drill bits have a special tip and a special shape that makes it easy to cut through these harder materials like rock. Now on the top of the drill, we also have two special buttons. This one that lets us go between 1 and 2 also gives us more power or more torque. The other button, which we can spin, lets us go from a drilling action like we were just doing to one that lets us screw in screws. So this special spinning motor does more than just make holes. We can actually switch it to screw, and the chuck will hold these special bits called driver bits. And what driver bits do is they let the drills hold things that can add and remove screws from wood, metal, and concrete. We will learn more about driver bits with our next tool. There are even special stirring drill bits that stir things together, like helping us mix concrete. To do that, we grab a bucket and pour some concrete in. Then we add water and mix with our special mixing driver bit. Well, we've learned that drills can help us with a lot of different jobs. But what's the big difference between a regular drill and an impact drill? The big difference is that the impact drill has a motor that hammers, pa, 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 and spins at the same time. This is sometimes why impact drills are also called hammer drills. Hammering and spinning at the same time creates tons of power. Some impact hammers, like this one, can hammer up to 50,000 times in 1 minute. Since impact hammers slam as they spin, they can't be used for drilling holes, and we can't put a normal drill bit in it. Instead, we use all different kinds of driver bits. That's because impact drivers are only used for adding screws and bolts. Now you can see the chuck on the impact drill is different. All we do is pull this and it releases, and we can put a new driver bit in just like that. While adding big bolts and screws like this one can also be done with a drill by throwing it in the chuck. The impact hammer usually has 5 to 20 times more power, making the job a lot easier for the tool and for us. Impact drills, or hammer drills, have tons of different driver bits that we can use for gripping, adding, and removing tons of different kinds of screws. We can use this one that's called a Phillips head, and it's shaped like a plus sign. We can use this one that's called a flathead and shaped like a straight line. We can use this one that's called a square, or an S-bit, that looks like a square. We can use this one that's called a star bit, or sometimes called a T-bit, because the head is shaped like a 6-pointed star. We can use this one that's called a hex head, and it fits around small bolts like this one. And we can use a big shaped hex head that's called a socket, and that's for putting on big bolts. Now let's take a look at each of these special driver bits and their screws in action. We've got a Phillips head. We've got a flathead. We've got a square or an S-bit. We've got a star or a T-bit. We've got a hex bit for our small bolts. And we've got our socket bit for our really big bolts. And that really loud sound you hear as this is going is the hammering. Now, once in a while, we find a nut or a bolt that is so humongous that an impact drill just can't do the job. So we go back into our toolbox and we find a really big tool called an impact wrench. The impact wrench is a huge version of the impact drill with extreme power behind it. Now, one big difference about the impact wrench is that it only uses sockets. So I have a whole case of sockets here. And it's really easy to change because with this chuck, all you have to do is push the socket on or off. Just like that. The impact wrench is usually used for really big bolts, like putting this bolt in this beam that holds my whole house together, or taking the tire off of this car. Well, that's it for now. I really hope you've enjoyed learning about drills, impact drills, and impact wrenches. Thanks for visiting Sam's Toolbox, and I hope to see you again soon. Keep learning and keep building.